George Strait. The name itself echoes through country music history, synonymous with authenticity, tradition, and an unparalleled reign atop the charts. They call him the King of Country, and with record sales surpassing legends and a career spanning decades, it's a title hard to dispute. But behind the sold-out stadiums and the seemingly effortless string of hits lies a story etched with both incredible triumph and profound heartbreak. A story, especially when it comes to his family, that's far more complex and compelling than many realize. We know the hits, we've seen the cowboy hat, but what about the life lived off-stage, the challenges faced away from the bright lights? Prepare to delve into the untold chapters of George Strait's life and uncover the surprising truths about the man and his family. Truths that reveal the real depth behind the King of Country's crown. From the dusty plains of Pearsall, Texas, George Strait's story isn't some manufactured Nashville fairy tale. This wasn't a kid dreaming of stages from a young age, but a boy immersed in the real cowboy life. Born in Poteet in '52, he was raised in Pearsall on a sprawling 2,000-acre ranch, a legacy passed down through generations. Forget glitz and glamour. His childhood was about hard work, early mornings, and the demanding rhythm of ranch life. His father, a middle school math teacher, instilled in him a work ethic as strong as the Texas sun. But here's a twist you might not expect. Music wasn't his first love, not in the way you'd imagine. In high school, George wasn't strumming country chords, he was rocking out. Yes, the future King of Country started in a rock band called the Stoics, chasing the sounds of the Beatles and the British invasion. Can you picture that? George Strait channeling his inner John Lennon? It's a far cry from the honky-tonk hero we know today, and a detail often overlooked in his carefully crafted legend. This unexpected musical detour is just the first hint that Strait's path to country royalty was anything but conventional. After a year at Southwest Texas State, life took another surprising turn. Love, in the form of his high school sweetheart Norma, led him down a path less traveled. They eloped in a secret wedding, a testament to their young love and a hint of the private nature that would become a hallmark of Strait's career. Then, duty called. He enlisted in the U.S. Army in 1971, stationed in Hawaii. Paradise, yes, but for George, it was also a crucible. Far from the Texas ranch, and even further from the rock and roll dreams of his youth, something shifted. It was in the quiet moments in Hawaii, away from the familiar, that country music truly took root. He picked up the guitar, not to shred like his rock idols, but to explore the soulful sounds of Hank Williams, George Jones, and Merle Haggard. He discovered Bob Wills and Western swing, a genre that resonated deep within his Texan soul. The Army, a world away from country bars, ironically became the unlikely incubator for his country music awakening. He even joined his first country band while serving, a military band on a Hawaiian Army base. Talk about a hidden origin story. It was a slow burn, this transition from rock to country, almost accidental and completely organic. Who would have guessed that Uncle Sam played a role in shaping the King of Country? Returning to Texas after his military service in 1975, George wasn't immediately catapulted into stardom. He went back to university, earned a degree in agriculture in 1979, a practical choice reflecting his ranching roots. But the music bug, once it bites, is hard to shake. He joined a local country band, Stony Ridge, renamed them the Ace in the Hole Band, a name now legendary in country circles. They were grinding it out in Texas honky-tonks, building a local following, opening for acts like the Texas Playboys. They even recorded some of George's early songs for a small Houston label. But fame? Nashville? Those were distant dreams. To make ends meet, George was back on the ranch during the day, cattle pens and country gigs, a double life of hard labor and late-night performances. He was talented, undeniably, but the music industry is a beast. And for George, the beast seemed determined to stay hungry. He lacked connections, industry insiders, the kind of backing that greases the wheels of fame. Here's where the story takes a turn, a moment that could have easily been the end of the King of Country before he even began his reign. Despite his local success, Nashville remained a locked door. His friend ERV Woolsey, who ran a bar where George played and had past record label experience, tried to help. He convinced Nashville executives to come to Texas to see George and his band live. They came, they listened, and they passed. They liked the music, sure, but the traditional Western swing sound? Too old-fashioned, they said. Not marketable in the slick pop country landscape of the time. Rejection after rejection followed. George made countless trips to Nashville, knocking on doors, only to be met with polite refusals. The industry giants just didn't see it. They wanted polished, pop-infused country, not the raw, authentic sound George was crafting. Discouraged, disillusioned, George considered hanging up his guitar for good. He was offered a job designing cattle pens, a stable, practical path, a return to his roots. He told his band he was leaving, ready to trade stages for spreadsheets. Imagine country music history without George Strait. It almost happened, but destiny, or perhaps just the unwavering faith of his wife Norma, intervened. She convinced him to give it just one more year, one more shot at the impossible dream. That's all it took. Shortly after, MCA Records, a major label, offered him a contract. Not a guaranteed album deal, mind you, but a single song deal. Prove yourself with one song, they said, and maybe, just maybe, we'll consider an album. February 1981. The stakes were impossibly high. He released Unwound, and then everything changed. Unwound wasn't just a song, it was a seismic shift. It resonated, it connected. It climbed the charts, reaching number 6 on Billboard's Hot Country Songs. Number 6. For a debut single from an artist Nashville had repeatedly rejected, it was a thunderclap. MCA, stunned by the unexpected success, offered him a full album contract. The door, once slammed shut, was now wide open. The ace in the hole band, who had stuck with him through the years of struggle, were right there with him, ready for the ride. This wasn't just a career launch, it was a resurrection. From the brink of quitting to a record deal in months, it's a testament to perseverance, a reminder that sometimes all it takes is one last chance, one unwavering believer, and one hell of a song. The 1980s became George Strait's decade. Album after album, hit after hit, he redefined country music. Honky Tonk Crazy, Right or Wrong, Does Fort Worth Ever Cross Your Mind? The list goes on. Each album sold over 1 million copies, a staggering level of success. Critics lauded his straight country sound, a refreshing antidote to the pop-infused trends dominating the airwaves. He wasn't chasing trends, he was setting them. From 1983 to 1984, he had 5 consecutive #1 hits. He became a fixture at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, a Texas tradition he continues to this day, performing for millions of fans. Awards followed. CMA Male Vocalist of the Year in 1985, again in 1986. His first greatest hits album in '85 cemented his superstar status. Then came Something Special in '85, another #1 album featuring the iconic hit The Chair. Everything seemed to be going right, his career reaching stratospheric heights. But behind the dazzling success, 1986, the year of his second CMA Vocalist of the Year win, would become a year etched in pain, a year that would forever alter the course of his life and family. A year of professional triumph, overshadowed by unimaginable personal tragedy. George and Norma had 2 children. Jennifer, their firstborn, arrived in 1972, followed by George Harvey Strait Jr., nicknamed Bubba, in 1981. A seemingly perfect family, blessed with success and love. Then, in June 1986, the unthinkable happened. Their 13-year-old daughter, Jennifer, was killed in a car accident. A passenger in a car driven by an 18-year-old, the accident was caused by excessive speed and reckless driving. Jennifer tragically wasn't wearing a seatbelt and was partially ejected when the vehicle flipped. She died instantly. The news sent shockwaves through the country music world, but more importantly, it shattered the Strait family. In the face of such devastating loss, George retreated. He became even more intensely private, shunning media interviews, unable to speak about Jennifer's death for a year. Publicity, fame, awards, they all paled in comparison to the gaping hole left in his heart. "I got even more private after I lost my daughter," he later explained. "That's when I really shut things down. I didn't feel like talking to anybody that wasn't really close to me." He channeled his grief into his music, a quiet resilience amidst profound sorrow. Incredibly, he continued to perform, to record, to connect with his fans, even as he navigated the deepest pain a parent can endure. Music, in a way, became his solace, his way of honoring Jennifer's memory, a testament to his strength in the face of unimaginable loss. Despite the personal darkness, George Strait's career continued its ascent through the late 80s and into the 90s. He channeled his emotions, his resilience into his music, and the results were undeniable. He embarked on an unprecedented streak of 11 consecutive #1 hits, starting in 1986 and stretching into 1989. Albums like Oceanfront Property made history, becoming the first country album to debut at #1 on the charts. He closed out the decade by winning the CMA Entertainer of the Year award twice, in 1989 and 1990. The 90s brought more innovation. His 10th album, Living It Up, spawned multiple #1 hits. He experimented with his sound, subtly evolving while staying true to his traditional roots. Then came Pure Country in 1992, his foray into acting, and a soundtrack that became a cultural phenomenon, featuring iconic songs like I Cross My Heart and Heartland. In 1995, Straight Out of the Box, a 4-disc collection, became the best-selling box set in country music history, a record that still stands. Through the 90s, Strait continued to dominate, racking up 17 #1 hits on the Billboard Country Airplay charts. He entered the new millennium as an undisputed icon, his legacy firmly cemented. But amidst the accolades and achievements, the quiet private life he cultivated, especially after Jennifer's passing, remained a constant. He was a superstar on stage, but fiercely protective of his family and his personal world offstage. While George Strait reigned supreme in country music, his son, George Harvey Strait Jr., or Bubba as he's known to family, was forging his own path, albeit one intertwined with his father's legacy. Born in 1981, Bubba grew up in the shadow of his father's fame, but seemingly unfazed by the spotlight. He embraced the cowboy life, inheriting his father's passion for ranching and rodeo. He became a skilled team roper, competing in high school and college rodeos, even joining the professional ranks. Rodeo wasn't just a hobby, it was a family affair. George himself organized the George Strait Team Roping Classic for decades, a prestigious event in the rodeo world. He proudly declared that his greatest moment in the sport was winning alongside Bubba. But Bubba's contributions to the Strait legacy extend beyond the rodeo arena. Remember Heartland, the opening song from the Pure Country movie? That's Bubba's voice you hear as a child. And as he grew older, he found another creative outlet, songwriting. He began collaborating with his father, co-writing tracks on George's albums, including hits like Living for the Night and Out of Sight, Out of Mind. George openly acknowledged Bubba's influence, crediting him with reigniting his own songwriting spark. It's a unique father-son partnership, a passing of the creative torch, with Bubba playing a vital yet often unseen role in his father's continued musical journey. While Bubba shies away from the public eye, preferring a life away from the glare of fame, his impact on George Strait's music and legacy is undeniable, a testament to the deep bond they share. Today, the Strait family legacy continues to unfold. Bubba is married to Tamara, a realtor and former dancer, and they have 2 children, George Harvey Strait III and Jillian Louise Strait. Grandpa George is clearly smitten. His grandson, Harvey, has already made his own stage debut, joining his grandfather at the Houston Rodeo to sing God and country music. There are hints of musical talent in the next generation, with George mentioning Harvey's drumming and Jillian's singing. Whether they follow in their grandfather's footsteps remains to be seen, but the Strait family values, hard work, authenticity, and a deep love for family are clearly being passed down. Despite the fame, the records, the accolades, George Strait's story, at its heart, is a family story. A story of resilience in the face of tragedy, of unwavering love and support, and of a legacy that extends far beyond the music charts. From the dusty ranch in Pearsall to the sold-out stadiums around the world, George Strait's journey is a testament to his talent, his perseverance, and the enduring power of family. He may be the king of country, but perhaps his greatest kingdom is the one he's built with his loved ones, a kingdom rooted in Texas soil and strengthened by the bonds of family, a legacy that will undoubtedly continue to resonate for generations to come.